And we're going to draw a building. You can kind of put it in the middle of your piece of paper. If you've already drawn some of those lines, don't worry about it if we get over those. This is just practice. Okay? We're going to draw a house that's 28 feet long by, let me double check here, 15 feet wide. Yeah, I'll get it down where you can see it. There we go. Okay? Now there's two types of lines that you draw when you draft. There are construction lines. And they are very, very, very light. Because I don't want to see them in the end. They're so light that when I draw them, if I'm not standing right at your table, you probably can't see them. Or shouldn't be able to see them. The other type of line that we draw, and I know Angie's a stickler about this one, is when you do your final drafting, you draw a line like you mean it. So you're pushing harder, you're rotating that pencil like we talked about, and you can see it. So I've got a final drafted line, and I can see that construction line, but you can't. So there's two different types of lines. Construction lines are used to help lay things out. And then I go back and I draft the final thing on top where I can actually see that line. Draw it like you mean it. We'll get into that when we sketch too. That's on Thursday. Okay? So to start out, about in the middle of your paper, you want to make two dots. Our house is 28 feet long. So I'm going to make two dots with my scale. I'm going to take my T-square, and I am drawing a little darker so you can see it. So there's my first construction line. I can take my triangle and go down from those two dots. Then I can take my scale and measure down 15 feet. So you should have a box drawn that's fair size. It should cover up most of your paper. And they should be very light construction lines. Just keep your triangle right around your T-square so you don't have to reach way off to the side to grab it. Just kind of push it with your fingers up out of the way when you don't need it. And if you're pulling your T-square down, pull your triangle down with you. Then you always have those instruments right at your fingertips. So 28 feet long. Did anybody have problems with 28 feet? I set on a 0. I'm at quarter inch. Remember, we're at quarter inch scale. Then I found 28 feet. Put a little dot. Pull down my verticals with a triangle. Measure it again. For the 15, put a little dot. And I get the completed square, the outline of my little building. If you're doing your construction lines light enough, you do not have to erase anything. Takes time to erase. You guys want to get done with your homework for this class and go do something else. Something fun. So don't erase. Construction lines are light enough you don't have to. Okay? Now, most exterior walls in a home, a wood frame construction, we draw 6 inches thick. And I'm going to go to the inside of my line. So at 1/4 inch, I put it on one end of the inches, and I can mark with a little dot 6 inches. And I can do that for every wall. Put a little dot, you can see, hopefully, I'll darken them up here. You can see I measured once, so I use that tool. Then I can take my T-square and triangle and draw parallel lines to the first one. And now I have the thickness of my exterior walls. All good. If you stand up and take a couple steps away from your drawing, can you see your construction lines? Shouldn't. Takes a little practice, but it shouldn't do that. Okay. Let's learn to draw a door now. It doesn't matter really in your wall where you're going to draw it. Okay? So, most exterior doors, and we're going to draw them this way, are 3 feet long, or wide, excuse me. 3 foot wide. Okay, so somewhere on one of your walls, it could be horizontal or vertical wall. Make the marks for your opening. Oops, I better move over here so I'm in the middle. Make marks for your opening. Okay. Then I take my triangle, and you need your 45-degree triangle. Make sure you have your 45-degree triangle, because to do a door you need that triangle. Okay, so that'll designate the opening. Then I draw the door. My door is going to swing out. So I'm going to put 2 lines real close together. That'll be the thickness of the door. No. The door is 1 3/4 inches wide. Grab your scale. Can you draw 1 3/4 inch wide line? No. Not at that scale. Okay? Now the question is, how long is the door? It's going to start halfway through the door, or through the wall, but I don't know how long to make it. Okay, so what you do is you take your 45-degree angle, triangle, and place your pencil halfway between your 2 walls, slide your T-square till it hits your pencil, and then draw a 45-degree line. And that tells me how long my door has to be. It also tells me how big a circle I need to use to draw the arc of the door. Because doors don't open in a straight line, they open on an arc as they swing open. So everyone should have a circle template. It's a little one. You need the little circle. Now you'll notice on a circle template, there are 4 marks on each circle. Too big a circle. See these little marks? So that shows you a quarter of a circle, half a circle. So when we draw doors, we want to find the circle that when I put on one tick there, the other quarter circle ends on the end of the door. So I can slide my circle template around till I find one where it fits. Too big. This one's the right one. And I can draw it like that. So there's 3 parts to a door. You draw the width and place the door. Which way is it going to swing or open? Second step is I draw a 45-degree line, and then I find the arc size that fits. Okay, let's do another door. This time, the door is going to be 6 foot wide because it's a double door. Six foot wide. Draw the opening. I draw the doors. It's like a closet door, so there's doors on each side. I got 2 doors, one on each side of the opening. Now if I have 2 doors and the opening is 6 foot wide, I need to know where the center is. So that's 3 feet, right? Center of the door. Put a little mark where 3 feet is. Because the second step in drawing doors is to draw the 45-degree angle. First step is the width of the door and the doors themselves. Door or doors. Second step is the 45-degree angle. Then I can use my circle template to draw the door swing. All of this so far is in light construction line.
How can we measure from like the middle of that very bottom? Yeah.
Well, the question was, how do you find the middle point? Well, you know that's 6, right? From there to there, 6 feet.
right.
Well, measure
I know
from
that's 3.
3
I mean, in between, like,
here to here.
yeah.
Oh, you can approximate it. The human's eye is really good at finding halves.
Okay.
We'll learn that when we sketch.
So with the circle thing, you're measuring from the middle to the
Yep.
top?
From the middle until it hits where your doors go up and the angle hits. That's when you know where to find the arc. This takes practice. I'm going to go over another thing and then we'll sit and draw doors and windows. So those are doors. Can you name the 3 steps to draw a door? That's the important thing to try to remember, because once you remember the steps, you can figure out how to do it. Now, a window is a little more complicated. They have more parts. Okay? Still the same thing. I want to draw a 2 foot 6 inch wide window. So I know it's 2 inch. We're 6 at a 1/4 inch scale. So 1, 2, there's 2 feet. Now we're 6 inches. I'm down here on the small marks. Right in the middle of 12. I can draw those. So that's the opening size. Now the glass in a window is kind of like drawing the glass on the door. It goes right in the middle. Now there's one you really can't measure, because glass is like a 1/16 of an inch thick, or 3/32. Okay, so it's about the same width lines as a door, but there's 2 lines there. Right in the middle of the wall, vertically of the middle. 2 foot 6. In this example, windows can be all kinds of different widths, just like doors. Now, so that's step 1 and 2. Okay, step 3, you have to remember this number, 2 inches. Because we're going to draw a lot of things here that are 2 inches wide. I'm going to put the window jambs in. Those are the frames that hold the glass. If you look in our studio rooms toward the outside windows, the first thing we draw, that opening size, that's the white part around the windows, the opening. The next part are the jambs. That's the black or the bronze piece that hold the glass. Those are called jambs. So I'm going to go 2 inches and 2 inches. I'm just making marks. And then a window has a sill. That's the bottom piece. In your homes, it's probably wood. Sticks out and sticks in. So I'm going to make a little mark. Sticks outside the house about 2 inches. Sticks inside the house 2 inches. Still remembering the number 2. Okay. Last thing for 2s. The sill sticks past the opening of the window 2 inches. On the outside and the inside, they stick past the opening. So lots of 2 measurements here. So I go from the opening of the window, I go 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Now watch me draw the final lines of this, because it gets confusing. Just watch, and then you can finish yours. I'm going to draw in lines like I mean it, in the same order. Ooh, those are shiny. Okay? There's my wall openings, very dark. Now in a little, then I'm going to draw the glass in. Then I'm going to draw the window jambs. And they're the width. We'll just draw it at this scale. We're going to draw them the width of the window, the depth of the wall, I mean. Okay? Now I made marks for the sill. It goes out 2 inches. And it goes 2 inches past the opening on both sides. If I can get the glare off of this, you can see, not too well. I'll draw it quickly again with a pen. Give me a second. First step's the window opening, right? See if a pen does any better. There's the opening. Then I draw the glass in. What's the magic number for jambs and sills? 2. Now I'm just eyeballing this. You're going to carefully do this. Okay? So it should look like approximately like that when you're done. See all the parts? Why don't you try to finish yours that way? Make the width of the opening, draw that in dark. Go through the same steps as you used to do the construction line. Then I put the glass in. Then I use the magic number 2, get the jambs and the sill drawn all correctly. So 3 steps for a door and 3 major steps for a window. There's a lot of pieces for a window, but using the number 2 as a major organizer, you can draw all the pieces in 3 steps. Okay? Okay, everybody look up at the screen. I'm seeing one kind of common thing that's hard to do. And I'm going to draw a window really large so you can kind of see how it might work. Okay? So there's my opening. Okay? The glass goes in the middle. Now my jamb goes like this. And then my sills do that. It's hard to see when I'm drafting the same scale. Okay, what's 2 inches? This dimension, and that. The jambs, we're going to just draw the depth of the wall. So that was kind of the, people were drawing the jambs where they stuck way out to the edges of the sills. They don't do that. Okay, so we should end up with this. glass, jamb, and the sills. As if you could see what I'm doing. Okay, that's what you should end up with, and that's half of a window. There's the other side, of course. Okay, you're starting to see how important construction lines are. They need to be very light so you don't get confused. Now when you go back to do your drafting part and you're going to draw the final drafted line and you're drawing it like you mean it, then it gets dark. Go through the same steps that you built the window, go back and do the darkening up of the lines. Then you don't get lost with all these dots and little light lines running around. We're trying to teach your brain to take things apart into all these little pieces. I'm not concentrating on the whole drawing, I'm only concentrating on the jamb of the window. Of all those little lines I've got drawn, which is the jamb? Draw the jambs. Draw the glass. Draw the sills. If you go through those 3 basic steps, you'll be good. Everybody look up at the screen. I need to remind everybody. When we're drafting, how do I hold my pencil? Death grip? No. More relaxed. It doesn't get, I'm not doing this, because then I'm pushing the pencil underneath the T-square sometimes, or the triangle. Hold it straight up, or approximately straight up, and I'm spinning the pencil as I go. The harder I push and the slower I spin, I can get big fat lines, or if I do real light, I can draw real skinny lines. I can draw a real skinny line that's real dark with the same pencil. If I don't push hard but I spin a lot, I can get a skinny black line too. Okay? Use your good drafting triangles. Remember, you have 2 sets of triangles in your pack. That one with the colored stripe on it has a beveled edge, and it's hard to draft with. It's not thick enough. We're going to use that to make models with, and then you'll have nicks in them. Then you'll have a line that has a nick in it. So we'll stop those, get those good habits started right away.